Hola, 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 it's me. I'm back with part 4 of the series that I write. So, like I said, I write 6 predominant series. Like, I spend most of my time writing. I'm working on a 7th one now. I was writing 12, but then I decided not to, and basically condense that. So now I'm working on 6. I was going to write 12, but yeah, no, I don't want to kill myself. Anyway, so I do have a 7th series coming up, but that's only going to be 3 books, so I'll be done with that quickly. But anyway, so we're on to my 4th series. That is the Death Merchant series. And I would say out of all the series that I've written, I think Luke and Izzy is my number 1 series, the Bayou Blue series. That's like my most favorite series that I've written. I love Ariana, but it's just the dynamics with Luke and Izzy that just speak to my heart, even though I wrote it. So that's my favorite. And then the Death Merchant series is a close second. So now this series, I think because of the cover, a lot of people mistake this as maybe a dude-centered series because there's a dude on their warriors, and so I don't know if that like throws female readers off, but because of what they do and what they are, these were the best covers for them, and to focus on the men themselves instead of the Nominus League, which is what they all work for. So now, each book in the series also introduces a new power couple. This is a fated mate series. Basically, these men are usually, I think the youngest is Harry. This is Harry, bitten in time. I think the youngest is Harry, and Harry is 150 years old. And basically, they each work for the Nominus. They are like pretty much the supernatural CIA, or equivalent to that. They do some serious unaliving and, covert-ish that, if people in this universe hear Death Merchant, they're like, because they know they will most likely be unalived if they've been doing some bad ish. So now the Death Merchants only go after like the purely evil. We'll say evil. They literally only go after them. So you have to have done something really bad for the Death Merchants to come after you. Now, they are all in line with the Nominus League. The Nominus League is through every series that I write. They are literally the governing body for supernaturals in my universe. So, the Nominus make sanctions, they unalive people, they do all the stuff that, like, government would do. And so these men are tied to the Nominus. They have what is called a merchant timeline. So these boys are taken at birth. Like when their moms, blah, 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 they're given and pledged to the Nominus. And then the Nominus trains them to fight evil on every forefront. So the one thing that they have not allowed them to have is love. Whether it's love from a parent, love from a spouse, love from a significant other, they're not allowed to have that, because the Nominus feels if they allow this, then it would stop them from doing the job that they need to do. They might think twice about unaliving someone, especially if it's someone who was like, but I didn't know that was going to happen. So they have, for centuries, the Nominus has been around for 30 centuries. And for 30 centuries, this is the one thing that they have not allowed these men to do. So they are ancient warriors starting from Egyptian times, because Callum is the oldest. Callum began he is one of the merchants, Argus, Sam, Aziz, and Medgar. They began the Nominus. And so in book 8, you get to meet Callum. He is one of the original Death Merchants. Harry is a tribrid. When I say tribrid, I mean that. He was bitten first. He was a warlock first, and then he was bitten by a were, and then he was bitten by a vampire. So he's all three of those. And then you have hybrids, you have angels, you have demons, you have succubus wolves, you have all kinds of stuff in here. And so what happens in this series is it is a legacy bond that binds these couples. And the problem with the legacy bond is someone who you know has cast this spell against you, and it's not a good thing. It's a curse. And whoever has cast this legacy against you means for you to be unalived. And the only person that can stop this legacy is one of them. And so in this series, each of these women are fated to mate with this man because someone has cast a legacy curse on them. But they're just like, no, I don't care if it is fated, mated, what have you. I don't know you. And so they have to convince their mate that this is beneficial, that this is love, that this is whatever. And they don't actually know how to do that because the one thing that they have never experienced is love. So this is a very, very loving series. It's fated mates and what this guy will do in order to get her to be his mate and his like ultimate love. And so because of the fact that each of these women have been hit with a legacy curse, and for the legacy curse to work, it has to be a relative, someone who knows you well, someone who has like been in your life for like forever. So basically like your best friend who enslaved with your husband, Debbie will put a legacy on you because she wants your man or blah, 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 whatever. Anything, something like the person has to know you that well in order to put this curse on you. And so the only people that can stop this curse is a death merchant. And so there are 10 books in this series. Yeah, like I said, I don't write small series. There's 10 books in this series, and eight of them are death merchants. Book 9, and each of these, each of the factions in the Nominus have different warriors, I'll say. Like you have the death merchants, you have the Atex, you have the LLWSs, which is warlocks, and then you have the Quixotic, which basically is the legal part of the Nominus, and then you have the psychics. You have all these different factions, and so this series will give you books from all of those different factions because they are all conjoined with this Nominus. And so basically you're getting different portions of the Nominus. Like this is the American Nominus, Ariana is the European Nominus, but they all collect and basically go together. And so you'll have, like in this series, Mathis and Sephiroth cross over into this series, and then they cross over into Married to a Vampire because it's all the same Nominus. Yeah, so check the series out. It's called The Death Merchants. The first book is Bitten in Time, Harry, and each book will tell you who the Death Merchant is and what Nominus you're dealing with, or what faction of the Nominus you're dealing with. Like the Atex, that's completely different. They do some naughty things.